This is what confusing to me. That every time I sit and I listen at them on the news every day, they irritate you, saying these people are done this and these people are done that. We caught them trying to do this. We spoil a plot here in the United States of America where they trying to do this. But yet at the same time, my God, you building a military force over there, giving them high explosives, training them. How is you trusting those people? And you say they so bad over here, but you still you can know the good from the bad. And when you went there, you said that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. What we're doing here is, if you sit there and say that we fall a plot over here, that's for the public to approve you so you could buy more cameras, create more jobs for a man to go and spy on every neighbor in his habitat. Create another job for other people to go and kill people, train people to kill. This is what you're doing. This is true. This is what is going out over here. And the only way that God is going to bring this to the end and stop the lies, he got to kill the food chain. God got to kill the food chain. You know, I had a vision as God spoken to me concerning these matters. Let me see if I find them right now, because this is what I was talking about before I stopped. It was the year of 2003. Let me see if I find this back. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. This is before I left Danville, Illinois, 2002. I know what it was, but I can just mention this. Well, as I was laying in my bed, the food chain of the United States of America had went bad, and racism was still high in America as I saw these things come to pass. When I went to the military when I was a child and they drafted me in the military during the Vietnam era, we had these places we called tent cities. It was just a platform. They had to recruit us so quick and train us in 6 months and get us all before we go fight a war. They didn't have enough barracks for us, so we created something we call tent city. Just a platform on the surface of the earth. They cleared, and then the canvas around it. This is a quick shelter where you can create it and move. But this is what I saw with the sides rolled up where you can get air in there. I saw there was discrimination still here in America, even though these conditions hadn't came up on the food chain were disturbed here in the United States of America, as if God had became angry with the United States of America, and there was a major shortage in food. But they didn't have enough food to go around. All of these black people that I've seen were sleeping in this makeshift shelter. The white peoples, they was poor too, but they was sleeping up there in around in the vicinity, but they was in something like you call a building with a structural wall around them. But these poor black people was as if they was in a concentration camp, but they was a part of the habitat where these white people was. They had lights in there, like electric lights, as if the energy had been cut somewhat. What they would do, since they didn't have enough food to go around with all of these black people, they would white people sitting up there at the table, you can see them all in there. They had troughs like we made for our hogs. We always took the slop, we called it, and mixed with dishwater and old bread and stuff like that old stuff. And we pour it down in the straw and mix water with it because we fed them and get them water in the straw. And their hog pigs would go down there and eat that all of them out, and the strongest one, the dominant one, would get the most of the food. Well, this is what I saw in this point in time where God had encouraged the United States of America. They was pouring this bread out of the bakery as if it had came from the bakery and had to throw it all in there. And there was bed bugs like roaches all around where they slept at. And these men they was just thin, this bone looked like, and they had to all get there, crawl up there to that trough. All of them that had the strength to crawl up there to the trough and reach in there and get them a piece of bread out and try to eat it. And I was standing around, walking around, watching these people, and I reached in there and got me a piece of bread out because that's where they fed us in this vision that God had given me. And as I picked up this here piece of bread, which was a roll, a bun, or something like that, there was roaches all over it. I mean, they were roaches ran out on that, and I was trying to brush them off, but they was eating the piece of food as fast as I was, and I had to quit trying to fight them off and try to eat them, beat them, eating it up because this was all we was getting. And didn't know where it was came from. Anyway, the poorest of the people, the weakest of those who could not have strength to overcome the strongest, they was the one that perished because of the lack of food. Now, getting to after the year of 2003, God giving me a vision. He called to me a voice. I heard a voice. I was watching as the evening was coming near. A voice came out of heaven and said, Curly, and I said, here I am. It says, come and feed the wolves. The wolves is the wild papers. The wolves is Blackwater. The wolves is the dark side of America. He had been brought America down unto a point of no return to men who had studied wars and who had been fighting all of these years and trying to be a dominant force upon the earth. He's bringing them to justice. As I said, here I am. He said, come and be the wolves. The wolves were standing off at a distance watching me. They were real thin and frail, and they were looking at me with sadness as if I had something to do with it. And I didn't have nothing to feed them, and a rope came down from heaven with brown bun around fresh slaughtered cow bones. No meat on the bone of the slaughter, but bones with little or no meat on the bone. Fresh slaughtered cow came down from heaven. God told me to feed the wolves, and I looked, and they were looking sad, and I was looking sad too. How can I feed the wolves? This is all they got to eat. Too many wolves was out there, and there was only just a fraction around the joint part of the bone. God was bringing a judgment up on this earth. God was bringing a wrath up on this earth. He was bitter towards this nation for what it had gained. It had journeyed throughout the history of its conquest, destroying lives, taking that which was not his, and wasting it, and going out and continuously, year after year, day after day, week after week, month after month, any way you want to put it, slaying the people without no mercy, and not with no deliverance in his heart at all. And as I looked and saw what God was bringing upon this nation and the nations of the world, who have been a dominant peoples, who became the wolf, who didn't own it, who only understand sinister measures. When I saw my God bring this on, I felt sorry for the wolves. So I looked over, but I had no power to do anything because this was the judgment. And God was acting out his revenge against the adversary. He had slayed the peoples, and God was showing that this nation, he went out the trap of his own hand. He beautified his home while he destroyed the habitats of men. He placed him under the thumb. He